again and welcome back. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. Today is the 25th of the month, which means that it's Christmas Project Day. As I mentioned in my Paper Stash Smash video for the month of May, I showed the 3/4 designs mini project sheet of wishes and said that I was going to smash those. I had 6 A4 sheets. So I'll link that video below so that you can see the A4 sheet. It had all of the materials for you to make some tags. And I wasn't sure whether I was going to make one big tag or whether I was going to try and get 2 out of each A4 sheet. Well, as you can see, I managed to get 2. I'm going to do one of each tag on the video. So let's get started and you'll be able to watch me. Or if you've got the 3/4 Designs Wishes A4 mini project sheet, you would be able to craft along with me today. So I'll get set up and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so as you can see, I have already fussy cut everything out and I've actually inked the edges of everything, and I've inked the edges with Distress ink, vintage photo. With the backing card for this one, I cut it slightly away from the edge, maybe about a 1/16 of an inch or 2 millimeters away from the edge. And I cut the straight edges on my trimmer, and then I just hand cut with my fussy cutting the curve. I didn't die cut it or anything. Then what I did was I cut another piece of cardstock, and in this case I used a glitter in a champagne kind of a colour, and I just got that from Craft Online here in Australia, but I'm sure you'll be able to get glitter cardstock anywhere where you live. And I'm not a big glitter cardstock person, but for Christmas, it's the one time of the year that I'm happy to bring out the glitter. I just cut that slightly bigger, so 2 to 3 millimeters bigger, so that it had a 1/16 of an inch all the way around, or a 2 millimeter border all the way around. On the back, I just stamped it with a stamp that says Tidings of Comfort and Joy. You could use any Christmas sentiment. And I heat embossed that as well. So I stamped it in black ink and then I put some clear embossing powder on it and heat set it. So I've got that all prepped, but let's get started first with gluing some of these components together. I have inked around all of the little bits, but not heavily, just enough to take some of the edge off. I'm just going to put some of these bits together. For those of you that are new, welcome, and I have a few new subscribers, so thank you very much for subscribing. I really appreciate it. For all my regulars for coming back all the time, thank you so much for all of your lovely comments and for all the likes. Now I'm just going to glue this down, and what I usually do is I'm using art glitter glue. I know that you can't see the label, but I've worn the label off of my glue pot. I probably need to get a new one at some stage, but I've had this one for about 3 years. I like the size of it. It's not too big in the hand. Just putting it a little bit off center so that it can straddle that hole that I'm going to punch. These actually came together very quickly. I've not done one of these project sheets from 3/4 Designs before, but if I saw them again, I would definitely buy them because they're quick and they're easy. There's no instructions. It's totally up to you how you want to put it together. There's enough on the sheet for you to create something unique. And I managed to stretch it, like I said, I managed to stretch it and get 2 tags out of each sheet, which I was happy about, because for those of you that watch often, you know that I like to stretch my resources to get as much out of them as possible. Hence the Paper Rose quick cards, getting 12 cards out of 6 sheets out of the quick cards. I love doing that. All right, we'll just glue some of these on. The baubles were pretty fiddly to cut out, I do have to admit. Okay, so you can see that I've stuck all those on, and I haven't worried about packing them up too much. At the end of the day, this is a gift tag that somebody's going to put on a Christmas gift, and it's most likely going to be thrown away. So I want it to look nice, but I don't want to spend a massive amount of time on it. So I'm going to just glue that down. Now I have inked the edge. For those of you that are new, you may not have seen before, but for this year, which is 2025, I decided that I set a challenge for myself to do at least one Christmas project each month and post it on the 25th of the month, so that when I got to Christmas this year, I was not caught short. Last year, both my mother and I were a bit caught short with our Christmas supplies. So I decided that I was going to do something every month. As I said, post it on the 25th so that I had some things made. So this is what we're making for June. Okay, that's all glued together. I'm going to put that underneath my mat just to press it while I make the next one. Okay, so for the next one, I didn't have enough of all of the supplies that I was wanting to use. All I had left was I had the burgundy florally sort of color, and it was actually a rectangle. And you can see that I've cut it all the way to the perimeters, and then I've put the tapered corners on the top and rounded the bottom corners to turn it into a tag. I once again have cut a glitter mount, done the same stamping on the back just to be efficient, and it once again is an eighth of an inch, or about 3 to 4 millimeters bigger than the measurements of your tag. So whatever you want to cut your tag to, you can cut it, and then I've just made it a little bit bigger so that it's got a 1/16 of an inch, or about 2 millimeters border all the way around. And I have this one that was in the kit, and I have a candy cane, which obviously isn't going to be enough to turn something into it. Now I do have, this is what I have left. So I really only had, as you can see, candy canes, the music, or the baubles to use. But I didn't have a focal point. So I went into my Christmas supplies and I found this little guy. He is a Christmas gnome, and he is from Paper Rose Studios. I'll just tilt it because of the glare. He is from Paper Rose Studios Jolly Holidays embossed die cuts. I pulled out a few different ones out of that and out of my cut aparts from those supplies. So he's very cute, and he matched sort of the colouring of it. So I've got him as my focal point. And I also went into my sentiments, Christmas sentiments, and I pulled out some Christmas sentiments from Uniquely Creative just to find some Merry Christmas sentiments. But you could stamp your own sentiment. You could use any Christmas sentiments that you've got. So let's put this together. So basically I used one piece from Paper Rose, one piece from Uniquely Creative, and the rest from the 3/4 Designs mini project sheet Wishes. So let's put this on. I'm not sure whether I have mentioned, maybe I mentioned a long time ago, how much I love Christmas. Christmas is one of my favourite times of year. We celebrate on Christmas Eve. My family here, we all do Christmas Eve, and we have our big Christmas feast on Christmas Eve, and we open all of our presents to each other, and it's a lovely night. And then that leaves everybody to go to their partners' families' celebrations on Christmas Day. And also, sometimes my husband and I, we travel on Christmas Day. So if we're going on a cruise, or if we're going overseas, we will fly to wherever we need to go on Christmas Day, because for starters, the flights are much cheaper on Christmas Day here in Australia because most people are going to be celebrating and spending the day with their families and friends. So the roads are reasonably quiet and the airports are fairly quiet. So my husband and I quite often will travel on Christmas Day, and if we are home, we all of our children are obviously going to other places to their partners' families' celebrations. So we have some friends that we go to every Christmas. If we are at home, we go and celebrate with some friends, which is lovely. And then Boxing Day is a big rest day. So I'm just arranging this little guy onto the face of the tag, getting everything positioned. And as I said, I'm not going to pack this out. Ordinarily, I would probably pack it out and make it all level, but I'm not going to worry because it's probably going to get thrown into somebody's bin. So Christmas for us, some of my children don't live in Brisbane anymore. So most of the time we all come home together, but this year's maybe going to be a little bit different because, as I mentioned, one of my sons has moved to Europe to live and work. So we're not expecting him to make the trip home for Christmas, but he loves Christmas as well. So he has been hinting that he might come home for Christmas, but we're not expecting it. My other son, he lives interstate, so he usually comes back for Christmas and stays for a few days. The rest of our family live locally. So we'll see what happens this year. Okay, there we go. We've got our little man stuck down. So let's put him underneath our mat and press him, and we'll get back onto the other nutcracker. Okay, I'm just going to punch a hole in this. It's actually got a little hole indicator of where to put it. So I'm just going to put a eyelet in it. Okay, so we've got those done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of glossy accents, add a few more glossy areas to him, and put some on our nutcracker as well. Some of you may have seen me use these before, especially on the quick cards. I just use them, and wherever there's some shadows, that's where I tend to put it. I don't put it everywhere. I just put a little bit around on the darker areas. So a little bit on some of the shadows of the baubles. So you can see just in the darker areas I've put it. And I'm going to do around the shadowed areas of the nutcracker. I don't overthink it. I just put some on, and it doesn't all have to be perfect. And that's it. So let's see if you can see that. I'll just move it slowly. You might be able to pick it up. Now you need to dry this flat so that it sets. If you move it around, it will run. I also am going to put on a few of the crystals from Paper Rose Studio. I just put a little dot, and I usually put them in threes. They will dry clear. I know that at the moment you can see the glue, but when it dries you won't really see it. Do the same with this one. Okay, I'll pop that to the side and let it dry, and I'll meet you back here in a moment. Okay, they've dried, and I'll show them to you here. So there's our nutcracker. He turned out quite nice. And here's our little elf. And I'll just show you, we've got some crystals around. So let's put in a little ribbon. I've just cut some ribbon around about 30 centimeters or 12 inches so that somebody can tie it onto a gift. And I will package these up. I'll probably put 6 in a packet. Okay, so here we have our 6 nutcrackers, and they're all the same. With the other ones, I didn't have enough little elves to do all the same. I only had 3 of the same elf. So I mixed it up a little bit. So I have one that's like this one. It's a little boy elf. And then I have 2 like these ones, 2 of the same. And we have 3 like this one, the one that we just did. So there we go. There's our Christmas project for the 25th of June 2025. I used 3/4 designs, mini project sheets, wishes, and I made 12 tags. So hopefully you found that interesting today. And thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to help it grow. Let me know in the comments below whether you've done some of these other 3/4 designs, quick projects. They're fun to do and they're pretty good. This is the first one that I've done actually, so I will be keeping a lookout for them again. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you very much once again, and I will see you all very soon for another project. Bye for now.